Hey guys, hey, just wanted to record this quick video on the Photoshop home screen, just to kind of walk you through what you might be seeing. And so this, of course, is with my Photoshop account. And I know I'm signed in because I can come over here on the right-hand side and I can see that indeed it's my account. Okay. Um, Oftentimes, if you're taking an in-person class with me in the classroom, you'll see that you may be signed in with a different account. And actually, if you're in the classroom, that doesn't matter so much because you can still use the software as long as your files are physically on the computer and you've created a course folder, then you can still access the software and you can still access the files. And so, but if you want to double check, which account that you're signed in to, you can do that on the top right-hand corner. I think it's pretty self-explanatory what's going on here. There's a big blue icon if you want to create a new file. If you want to find an existing file that is maybe given to you by a friend or it's on a USB device or something external that you're plugging into your computer, you can click open. And when you do that, a dialog box is going to pop up so you can navigate and find that PSD file. And by the way, a Photoshop file is a very particular file. It's called a .psd. And so you can kind of see actually this one down here is a PSD, this one down here is a PSD. And you'll also notice that you can open a variety of different image or file types in Photoshop, but when you start doctoring them and start doing basically Photoshop wizardry to those files, when you hit Command S to save, it might ask that you convert that file to a Photoshop document, which is a .psd file, okay? Just for some clarification there. Here's home. This is pretty handy if you want to go and just learn, and look at some Photoshop tutorials. You can click here. Um, a little bit, I wanted to clarify something else. Down here, it's talking about files. And essentially, the way that Adobe applications are working these days is people get, or folks get, a cloud account. And what I've noticed in the past is that sometimes students will save their files in a cloud account, which I think is relatively reliable, assuming that you're signed into your account. But if you're not signed into your account and you're working on a cloud document under someone else's name, then that can be problematic because what happens if they change their account password and then you sit down at one of those classroom computers and then you can no longer access a file or a project that you've been focused on for maybe like, a week, two, or maybe even 3, 4 weeks. And so just kind of keep that in mind, the difference between cloud files and physical files that are actually saved on the computer. I'm a little bit old school, admittedly, and I have an external hard drive that I use. And on that external hard drive, I have everything physical and just there to use. But I have had students come to me and say, "Hey, I can't access my work anymore because I was working on this computer and it was signed in under someone else's name, and I was using their cloud account, and so now I'm locked out." So please just be mindful of that. I think honestly, one of the big takeaways with this home screen is that you can access recent files, whether they're cloud or physical or whatever. So you can kind of see, I'm teaching a drawing class right now, and I was formatting some photos for students so that they would be the correct size or aspect ratio in comparison to the drawings that they're working on. And I cropped them and did a little bit of wizardry, not a whole lot, but just a little bit of simple Photoshop, magic for these students. And that's why you see all these different portraits here. But, I take photographs of my own work, and I'm cropping or saving for web actually images, like large, like sometimes these big Photoshop document images or files can be like 50, 60 megabytes sometimes. And so obviously you need to crunch those down with Photoshop for the web, so that they can be on a website or be on social media, et cetera, et cetera. So that's just a brief walkthrough regarding the home page on Photoshop. Thanks, guys.